As team pilot Dave Barrell came into a beautiful short landing there, he'll be taxiing the aircraft up to crowd front, and you can all give everybody a big wave as the girls and pilots get out of the aircraft.
We'll be having a big discussion about this later on, won't we?
We'll go have a little chat about it all, yes.
Chat. First-hand experience is great. Trying to find first-hand experience. And if you don't have a hat, you can actually buy one of our new Midlands Air Festival hats. It's a very rare privilege to be able to get one of those hats, because last year they were only available to the flying team. So this year we've TJD models here, and there's a huge group of people here with these flying models. This is a fantastic sport to get into, and there are all sorts of different aircraft that you can fly at different times. If you want to get anything at all for any of your models, this is the place to go. And it's their particular person that is keeping us on here at the Midlands Air Festival. As you can see, the radio control has a substantial range, beyond which you don't wish to fly because you don't want to contemplate on the up and down. Well, did you ever get into this?
No, my brother is a real modeller. He flies. He actually has gone from modelling to building his own full-scale aircraft.
Those of you with keen eyes can see another Sky Raider taxi down there. That's the South Vietnamese Air Force. Same markers, the big base, base of Thailand. Harkening back and flying anything with a propeller to World War I. You get the name of that famous French fighter.
Looks like we could be getting some dogfighting or some nice formation flying going today.
Once you get two guys up in the air with two aeroplanes that are very, very similar, I think you end up with a dogfight. Instead of the red mist comes down.
So do you know the origins of dogfights?
Basically, dogfighting was where the aircraft started to come in. And it all started very gently because it was all forward air control. number of people in our game that fly models at the weekend, but their day job is flying drones. They tend to do the takeoff and the landing, and then flick it over to autopilot. So they've got all us guys doing it. I don't do it personally, but others do. So the kids are like this one, just about to take off. It's a jet. Sea Vixen, yes. So it is a proper jet. It's not like an internal combustion engine inside. It's a scaled down jet engine powered by jet fuel, the same as you'll see on any airliner, with a bit of oil mixed into it. And this is a 170 size turbine, so it produces 170 newtons or 17 kilos of thrust. And it's pretty fast.
I did initially back home, just north of Sydney last weekend, and they had a couple of models there. One of them was about 1/5 to 1/4 scale F-16.
Nice.
And also the
5G, he's converting his speed into height to perform his first manoeuvre, the Hammerhead. Flight Lieutenant Hughes was born in Carmarthen, South Wales, and started his flying career in the Royal Air Force in 1989, flying the BC-10 out of RAF Bryce Norton, and then as a search and rescue pilot on the Sea King. From the end of this half horizontal, Bob will push negative 2G to level the aircraft upside down for the inverted pass. This is Bob's first year with the tutor display. He is operating at a base of 500 feet, except the two final passes at 300 feet. The next two manoeuvres are the wing over and the ballistic roll, which Bob can use to gain energy for the next part of the sequence. The ballistic rolls are flown towards you in an off-crowd wind and away from you in an on-crowd wind. When not displaying, Bob is a qualified flying instructor on 115 Squadron. After completing this half Cuban, Bob will enter the slow roll. Get your cameras ready for some great angles. Throughout the slow roll, Bob will skillfully coordinate elevator, rudder and aileron inputs to keep the lift vector pointing upwards. This prevents him from descending towards the ground. The tutor has a top speed of 200. Bob now rolls 90 degrees while pointing straight up before completing a stall turn at almost zero airspeed. The two 90-degree turns allow Bob to continue in the same direction. The tutor is operated by Number 6 Flying Training School in partnership with Babcock International Group, primarily flying University Air Squadron students and RAF Air Cadets. There are 13 air experience flights across the UK that offer flights to up to 20,000 cadets each year, and you can join if you are between 12 and 17 years old. Unlike the last full turn, this one is flown conventionally, exiting in the opposite direction to the entry. In the next manoeuvre, the 4-point roll, Bob delicately uses the rudder to support the nose above the horizon while flying at 90 degrees angle bank. This unique yellow and black tutor was originally a trial paint scheme to provide high contrast, but has now become a favourite at air shows and has been nicknamed the Bumblebee. One of our other display aircraft has the Royal Air Force Benevolent Fund on its belly since 2022 to celebrate this fantastic charity. The Benevolent Fund supports Royal Air Force personnel, air cadets and veterans whenever they are in need. For those of you that are considering going to university, there are 15 University Air Squadrons across the UK. Students on the University Air Squadrons are taught to fly the tutor by highly experienced military personnel. You can come and say hi at our tent, and we have University Air Squadron students to talk to. We are in a high energy section of the display with the derry turn, quarter clover and now the loop, which is a quintessential aerobatic manoeuvre. As he goes round, Bob is subjected to 5G, aiming to pitch the aircraft around an imaginary circle in the sky. Today, the Royal Air Force is recruiting for multiple rewarding and demanding professions and has an exciting future ahead of it with the continued development of our combat and maritime patrol aircraft and UK Space Command. They will soon be joined by the introduction of our airborne early warning system and the E7 Wedgetail, and new remotely piloted capabilities with the Protector. The high tempo of operations continues today with aircraft and personnel deployed around the world, operating with NATO and our other allies. Bob will now enter the final section of the display with another ballistic roll and half horizontal. I would like to take this moment to say a big thank you to our supporters this season. They are the Royal Air Force Benevolent Fund, Squadron Prints and Babcock, who have provided much of the merchandise we are giving out at our stand this season. Bob will now bring the tutor around for his departing wave. This is another great photo opportunity. Make sure to tag him in social media so we can see your shots. If you look carefully, you should be able to see him waving. Please give him a big wave back. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the 2024 Royal Air Force Tutor Display.
What a fantastic display, and an even better commentary there. To the helicopter, but this works in a completely different way. Now Pete, he's been flying for over 33 years, was first issued a gyroplane display authority back in 1991 and a display authority evaluator in 2012. He's been major air shows all across the UK, New Zealand and throughout Europe. Over 3,000 hours flying gyroplanes, and he won the first British Gold Colibri Award. 4th place in the first World Microlight Champions, and he also has an FAI World Distance Record for gyrocopters. So what we're about to see here is an incredible performance of somebody who is really so wide a variety of different aircraft. Now Pete's just lining himself up there now. A lot of fiberglass and carbon fibre and aluminium. This is a real composite build aircraft. There we go, just moving it slowly to get it turning, and then that's it.
That lovely big glass canopy will also give Pete a really good view of the public today. So we'd love to see you waving at him during some of the low-level displays.
He can see everything that's going on. You see the angle that the rotor is tilting up at about 15 degrees. That's the optimum angle for maximum lift. Very complex balance there. The blades are angled so that they produce lift, but also the angle of the blade is set so that it speeds up to a point where it turns at a stable speed, and both the drag and the thrust produced by the blade are equally balanced. That's mostly produced by oil introduced into the exhaust, or actually use citronella, because when Pete went over to New Zealand, we went down to the local hardware store and actually bought them out with all the citronella that they had. And believe me, there weren't any mosquitoes around that airfield for about 6 months after that.
And I bet it smelled gorgeous as well.
It did. Pete was a big hit there at Hood Aerodrome for the Wings Over Wairarapa show in New Zealand.
So back in the day, that smoke would have been produced by diesel, and now it's very much eco-friendly.
Oh, very eco-friendly, very eco.
And in some cases, baby oil, which leaves the pilot's hands nice and soft when they fill the aircraft up.
I have to ask Pete about that.
This is such a manoeuvrable aircraft.
This is basically designed as a touring machine, and it has cabin heat, fully adjustable pilot seats. It was certified in the UK in January 2011, and over 1,000 of this make have been sold worldwide. And it was designed in response to people flying in two-seat tandem open cockpits. Lovely in summer, but not much fun in winter with a partner. So this was the design that was undertaken. There are quite a few different types of gyrocopter or autogyro flying around the world.
Of course, one of the most famous would have been Little Nelly, that featured in the James Bond film.
Yeah. That was something else. Very, very aerodynamic design there. See the ease at which you can just do a quick touch and go, and you can imagine why it is so easy to use these aircraft in cattle mustering. A lot cheaper than some of the smaller two-seat helicopters that are out there, and they have a much longer life because after a certain number of hours those helicopters have to be completely torn down and rebuilt, whereas this basically has unlimited life.
Well, this is the one that makes some people feel a bit queasy, a little bit of crazy flying.
You certainly have to acquire that ability. Very quiet, as you can hear or not hear, and it meets very, very stringent German noise regulations where it was manufactured. Engine itself has about a 2,000 hour overhaul life, and that is quite incredible when you look at overhaul life on smaller aircraft and helicopter engines.
So anyone on the camera today, this unique beauty of Ragley Hall, this stunning backdrop gives such beautiful background to the photographs.
All these grounds designed by Capability Grounds back in the day. Very, very famous landscape architect. And what, as you say, what a backdrop. Deer in the woods.
It's a really special place. And hopefully, the crowd here today might come back and enjoy the gardens and the other facilities that this beautiful grounds and hall offer. You can also book a wedding here, a party, Christmas.
High tea.
So it's spinning like a sycamore leaf coming down now.
Certainly demonstrating the controllability of the aircraft. Only weighs about 300 kilos empty, and maximum takeoff weight is 500 kilos. Look at that. Just touching, off he goes again, touching down again. He can actually land this in about 76 metres. The good thing about it is a touring aircraft. It has an endurance of about 4 hours. So you can really go and see a lot of countryside in that time. acquired over many, many years. Well, that is certainly something that I wish I'd like to be doing myself. But again, shows some controllability in the aircraft. I think the Calidus is one of the nicest of the gyrocopters that are out there. Magni produces numerous models as well, and I think this is one of the prettiest. Certainly was a huge hit in New Zealand.
He's so close now, he'll be able to see everybody waving. So come on everyone, put your hands in the air and give him a wave. I can see him waving back at you, so give him a wave.
And that's waving with both hands.
It's the wonderful thing about coming to an air display, it's definitely public participation. And we're going to have quite a bit of that going on this afternoon.
That's the whole idea of Midlands Air Festival. Everybody gets involved. Now, we are going to be doing something very soon after Pete lands. We are going to be involved in the crowd.
It's going to be a score of 2 halves. Your side of the displayed side and against my side of the display.
The winners versus the second.
We're not talking about losers here, are we?
No, I just said second. Pete travels all over the UK and Europe with this machine. Sideways glide, no difficulty whatsoever. It can do virtually anything that a helicopter. But it doesn't have to hit the air for submission. Have you been for a flight in one of these?
No, unfortunately not. I'm talking about an aircraft with heated cabin and room for picnic. I think that's my kind of aircraft. I've flown in the microlight. It's like being in a wheelbarrow with a kite above your head.
I think it's Victoria River Downs back home is looking at replacing their helicopters with gyrocopters as well, because they are very, very quick again, 2,000 hour life on that engine. It uses very, very little fuel, and they are so manoeuvrable, so you can chase cows around trees, get them back into the pens. And get ready for, I think, a little bow. And there he goes. Just an acknowledgement to the crowd, acknowledgement to you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I've got the power just went back a little bit there. And let's have a look at this precision landing. Absolutely beautiful. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for Pete Davis and the Autogyro Calidus.
So as he's been working quite hard, and he might even open the canopy and you'll be able to wave at him as he does a really nice close run down the crowd line.
Now, I think there was a lot of effort involved in that, so we really need to get behind him, and a huge wave and a round of applause. And I know that he's going to be waving back to everyone. You can see those rotor blades just slowing right down now. Give him a wave as he goes past. Everybody along the crowd line will be able to see him. Boys and girls, get up there and give him a big, big wave. And it's all terribly British.
Very civilised.
Very civilised. Give him a big wave, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. That is a great performance.
The yellow one in the commentary box today as well.
Young
So,
Mike. Mike's going to be keeping score. See, I think we better keep score of Mike, because if he's actually counting down, then he's got money in the game.
So the Turb team is part of the world famous Tiger Club, which are based down in Kent, and the Turb team is one of the longest running display teams in the country, and this year celebrating their 65th anniversary.
It's incredible that they've been doing it that long. And in these aeroplanes, the Turbulent is the first and only single-seat aircraft ever flown by a member of the royal family. 1959. His Royal Highness the Duke of Edinburgh, an honorary member of the Turbo Club, flew one White Walton. That aircraft still exists. It's undergoing airworthy rebuild. There they go, the four of them. They're like happy bikers. How do you tell a happy biker? They've got bugs in their teeth.
Absolutely, and that very distinctive aircraft engines.
Climb to height.
So the Turb team are unique in that their ground crew are very much a part of their display. So quite often aircraft have a ground crew that help and support them, but they're very much ground based. Now the Turb team have a dedicated team who drive around the country, or indeed in the next couple of weeks they're going over to France, and the team follow them around in the team truck with all the kit that they need. So the ground crew in this instance are very much part of what they do.
There they are, out there on the airfield. They are hands-on. Now they're coming in a box 4 formation. Now these aircraft are very, very light. They're very close together. It is the lead aircraft, the one that's out in front, that is actually flying that whole formation. What the rest of them are doing are lining themselves up with spots on their airframe and lining them up with that on the lead. And they just maintain position. All they're doing is just controlling that distance away and controlling fore and aft by the use of the throttle.
So Alex Rainier, who's flying the red aircraft that's leading the formation, he started as a ground crew member of the team back in 2021 and has moved his way up to lead pilot, which is a fantastic achievement, and it very much shows that you start with the ground crew and move your way up to the team flying.
And you can see how the wings are moving there. There's a lot of turbulence. Like, we don't have much wind down here, but that wind is moving faster the higher you get. And of course there's turbulence coming off the tops of where all the trees are, and it goes up several hundred feet.
So this might be a fun family entertainment display, but it certainly shows the skills and dedication of these pilots.
And the lighter the aircraft, the less inertia it has, so the less penetration into gusts and that turbulence. So they really are sweating up there. It might not look like they'll be having a lot of fun as well. Very appropriate. I don't think there will be very many people at Ragley today that would not have seen that movie. Those magnificent men. Whoop. Whoop. Now they've gone into line astern formation. This is a little bit easier, but Not so in these conditions. And you can see they're up and down all over the place because now they're getting the weight turbulence off the aircraft ahead. Even though it might only be light, there is still that turbulence to deal with. Now we really can see up there the red, the silver, the yellow, and then the yellow and red. So pick your aeroplane, don't forget which one it is. Now we will be scoring what they're going to do very, very soon. So remember that. Mike in the control booth here, he is going to be checking and scoring, and we'll be checking him and scoring because he has some money in the game as well with the yellow and red aeroplane. We don't want to see any extra little score marks there on that one.
So I happen to know Dave Bro, who's flying the silver aircraft reasonably well. He's one part of the team engineer and is a chartered aeronautical engineer and flies many of the Tiger Club fleet of aircraft. So I'll give him a hard time on social media tonight if he doesn't win.
That's why you picked him.
Well, I've got a team, cheer on my guy. So the ground crew, led by Alan Fuller, he's got a bag. I can see a bag looking very lumpy. He's giving us a wave.
Yep. Now this is all part of the start of the scoring. Here they are. They're formed up again in that box 4 formation, the diamond formation. Now get ready, if you've got some cameras, they'll be coming in to perform their brake manoeuvre. And this is where they'll get to the highest spot in this display, some up to 500 feet. Now get ready with those cameras. Yellow and the yellow and red in from the right. So they're going head on here. What's going on?
This looks like a jousting battle. Oh, super low over the airfield, and down it goes, and oh my word, through the hoop, fantastic.
And the silver one as well. Look at that.
That's one for me.
And one for me.
Well done.
Hands up all of those that have picked any of the yellows. Yep, lots of hands out there to my right.
Here it comes, nice and low, keeping it steady. Well done. The yellow one,
Just
did it make it?
making it look so easy. And they're in Soglerio time.
So the little red one, down it comes. Can it make it? Underneath the pole. Yes, it did.
Hasn't missed yet.
Come on, Dave, with the little silver one. Ah, brilliant. This is the yellow with the red stripe.
That's Richard.
Oh, well done.
All making it look so simple.
And lastly, the little yellow one. Come on, you can make it. Oh, no! Oh, that's a shame.
Certainly looks like it.
Oh, no!
Oh! Now, that was a near miss there by the red. Look at this.
Oh! I'm counting that as a hit. Well done, Dave.
You missed it by a country mile.
Now, those are flour bags.
Oh.
Quite how they end up being explosive, I don't know. Oh! Fantastic. Anyone in the yellow
Good.
and red, that was pretty much direct hit. Oh! So the ground crew, that is out there aim to try and pop the balloons, which
Alex
is not
going
easy.
for one right now. Well below. So, red 0. And it's also really clever. Oh, he's going off target there. He's after that one. Well, just missed it.
I think that balloon is going to live to fight another day.
Whether or not they can get there in time. Look, there's one. Bang!
Hey! So that is the yellow with the
Yellow and
red.
That one. Bit low. Lower safe altitude, safety first. Right. Here we have the mono team. Mono and a half, I think we'll call them this year. Now that steam skybolt is not very big at all, and yet it towers over the little mono. Nice little topside pass there. Wouldn't it be beautiful out there with blue skies?
So we happen to have a skybolt in our family. My dad bought one a number of years ago and used it not only for crazy flying displays but aerobatic competitions, and my brother and I have gone flower bombing with it, which is what we saw earlier with the term team.
Now, did you use self-raising?
We didn't do very well. But it's a beautiful aircraft to fly aerobatics. It does very well.
Coming in now for a belly pass. There's different powers in those two machines, so a lot of concentration involved to keep that formation. If you could only hear the instructions that are being given out there over the radio. This is their 12-month anniversary. They were tyros this time last year, and now the radio instructions are so crisp and clear. It's just like the Reds.
And these two pilots are only in their early 20s. They're very young, and but they've also got a lot of experience already. Bruce gained his pilot's license when he was 16 in a glider.
Now this is, shall we say, I'll say a tribute to the Reds. It's not the turbo, this is what they call the light wings.
Flying round that smoke stream.
Smoke off. Coming back in now for a side slipping. There's a lot of thought goes into putting something together like this.
First of all, it's a paperwork exercise. They draw it out on paper, then they go and walk it through. I called it a walking ballet. You had a different term.
The chicken walk. Look at that nice side slip pass there. Not quite a knife edge. I like the way they did the light wings. And I believe they might be doing another one like that. So just have a look and see how he doesn't go upside down like they do in the Reds, but he just plays around with the smoke.
And then what's happening, which we can't really hear, is that the leader is calling out all the manoeuvres, so it's really clear what they're going to be doing. Coming in towards the same manoeuvre, that is really fantastic for the cameras.
They must have a lot of fun practicing this. What did you call it?
A walking ballet, why not? Just walking through all the manoeuvres that they're going to be doing, so it cements them in the pilot's head before they get off the ground.
Here's these steely-eyed, hairy-chested, big guys doing
a walking ballet. Yeah, I get that that's a bit weird.
But they do, you can see them in aerobatic championships, right up through unlimiteds, formation flying. They will do this, whatever you like to call it, the chicken walk, where they all walk around on the ground, simulating the formation flight that they're going to do. And that imprints it in their mind, no matter how many hundreds of times they may have done it. Now this is what they call the bunk bed pass. And Look at the line I think they've got there. They are waving past, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Well, hopefully the other mono will be ready next year when they return, so it'll be all recovered, nice and fresh and shiny. And we'll have the two tail-up monoplanes. Flew with number 16 Squadron out of Montpellier, Belgium. Machine manufactured in November and December 1944, built at Southampton, originally ordered as a Mark 8 and then built as a Mark 19. Delivered to number 16 Squadron in March of 1945 in the closing stages of the war. Undertook operational missions over The Hague, Rotterdam, the River Elbe, Emden, Bremerhaven and Cuxhaven, photographing shipping and V2 sites. Painted in that photo reconnaissance blue colour. Spitfires of all different marks operated in the unarmed PR role. Many of them were shot down. Post-World War II, the aircraft returned to the UK, stored at a number of maintenance units before in September 1952 was transferred to the temperature and humidity flight. This was an RAF unit that was utilised for meteorological flights, basically aiding in weather forecasting. 9th of June 1957, it performed the last RAF Spitfire flight with that temperature and humidity flight. Following that last flight, it was actually transferred to the historic aircraft flight, which is a precursor to the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight, and operated there through with the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight. And it can be, I suppose, easily said that since 1938 there has not been a time when Spitfires have not operated with the RAF. In 1963, this aircraft was flown by the officer commanding the Fighting Development Squadron, Group Commander John Nichols, in air combat trials with the English Electric Supersonic Lightning fighter. You might wonder why you would fly a Spitfire against a supersonic jet fighter, but it was because of Indonesian confrontation that was taking place just north of Australia. They were operating Mustangs and the British aircraft in the area didn't know how to fly against a piston-engined aircraft. So there was tactics that were developed through the Fighting Development Squadron, through flying the Spitfire. Fortunately, those tactics were never employed. The aircraft was transferred to the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight, and it actually also flew in the Battle of Britain movie. Absolutely beautifully demonstrated there. Makes it look just so easy, and the grace of the Spitfire is demonstrated for everybody here today.
The orange batons guiding the helicopter nice and gently and slowly into crowd centre.
Squadron leader Graham Muscat, red tent will soon emerge, and we want to hear a huge Ragley Hall welcome for red tent Muscat. So as soon as he steps out, we want to hear that chant.
In his distinctive red flying suit. This is the, I think it's
Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Muskie. He's arrived early because the Reds should be here about 5:25 p.m. And this is a spectacular sight. For any of you who have not seen the Red Arrows before, absolutely incredible performance, great ambassadors for the RAM and the United Kingdom around the world. Interesting aeroplane, a lot of people confuse it with the Tiger Moth. First flew in 1933, and they built about 940 of these. And introduced in 1933, designed as a two-seat training and touring aircraft by Stomp and Vertonghen at Antwerp in Belgium. These are the SV4B model, powered by a 145 horsepower de Havilland Gypsy Major. That is an inverted, air-cooled, four-cylinder inline engine. The aircraft only has a maximum speed of about 101 knots or 188 kilometres an hour, and a range of about 228 nautical miles or 420 kilometres. Prior to the outbreak of World War II, 35 had been produced, and between 1948 and 1955, 65 were produced by Stomp and Renard for the Belgian Air Force. (840) were produced in France and Algeria and used by France as a primary training aircraft. Fitted with a variety of different power plants, the Gypsy Major, two different Renaults, the smaller de Havilland Gypsy Major, the Blackburn Cirrus Major, and the 175 horsepower Mathis engine.
interesting fact. Our team leader, Richard Ward, was taught to fly by my father. who himself flew the Stomp on many occasions and was part of the Rothmans display team back in the 1970s.
Very famous team, that. Famous around the world.
Absolutely.
They basically grew out of the Tiger Club biplane 4 of the 1970s and 80s. Stomp Formation display team has been an airshow act in the finest traditions of classical barn storming from the 30s and 40s. To the Prince of Wales break.
With the music playing and this beautiful.
They got it to a point where they thought they could run it, but the Germans were in the chateau. They managed to pilfer fuel, fill the thing up, jump aboard one night and fly it across to England. And the aircraft was actually impressed into service with the RAF.
So with its wooden construction and fabric-covered wings, it wouldn't have been as hard to make and put together as something with a metal construction.
They were going to build an aircraft at this base. On this Stomp, the only one that was in service, there it was, emblazoned with its serial number, flying into land. The whole thing was in colour. It was amazing.
So ladies and gentlemen, do give them a wave as they fly by. They're waving away at you from that cockpit at the back.
Because these aircraft not renowned for inverted flight for any degree of time. Well, these are all the basic training manoeuvres that any Air Force pilot goes through, or any aerobatic pilot these days.
And the manoeuvres that they are performing are written down in a shorthand called arresti. So it's just like shorthand, and you can read each manoeuvre through its special characterisation.
Can you read arresti?
I can read arresti, yes.
I admire you.
Spent a lot of time on airfields watching aerobatic competitions as a child, and we definitely needed to learn arresti and our phonetic alphabets.
That one's easy. It's arresti. It is an internationally known set of symbols that describe all of these manoeuvres, and it is, as you said, it's shorthand. As with aerobatic competitions, you have a box in which the aircraft must perform of very specific dimensions. You have judges that can pick all of these directions, and they look to make sure that the aircraft performs within the box, depending upon what level, whether you're entry, advanced or unlimited. The manoeuvres become very, very much more difficult, and there are manoeuvres that are blinds to them. They are given a series of manoeuvres to perform in the higher levels of competition aerobatics, and they must do them to the best of their ability without having practiced.
And also each manoeuvre itself is kind of marked, and with marks taken away for if, for example, a loop isn't completely round, or if a roll dishes slightly and loses altitude, and the manoeuvre called the stall turn, which is one of my favourites, where the aircraft goes vertically upwards, turns 180 degrees and back down again, has to be perfectly vertical.
And of course, a stall turn, a lot of people think, well, restore your car in the engine state. That is not what it is. It is basically like that, perfect timing for our description, where the wing stops producing lift. And just before that point hits, the rudder is kicked over and the aircraft performs basically a perfect horseshoe in the sky.
I love how beautifully the pilot is keeping this display perfectly within the grounds.
And again, as you said earlier on, a garden party. And what a garden. Look at that beautiful, beautiful roll. Some of the most difficult manoeuvres to do when performed perfectly, they just look so easy. Particularly a barrel roll, which is describing what the aircraft would look like if it was flying around in a huge barrel in the sky, just around the inside edges.
Right, please give the pilot a big wave as he flies by. Everybody, hands in the air. So this manoeuvre, the waving goodbye, is again synonymous with the end of a competition, where you do a wing rock as to signify that you've finished your routine.
It's a little bit like the victory roll coming back to base.
It's the The team arriving in our world-famous Diamond 9 formation, training our world-famous red, white and blue. The team leader brings the team around to the left, means he started with a rolling show. And you can really see that top-side image of our world-famous Diamond 9. Leading the team this year, we have a new red one. He's been in the team many years before. It's squadron leader John Bond, known as Bondy. Bondy's been in the team 5 years. He took 1 year out before taking over this year as the team leader. He's been red 2, 7, 6 twice and red 4 when he came back in 2022. As the team come from the left in Big Vixen. Bondy's a previous trophy pilot and also flew in Chicago as a previous qualified flying instructor, where he was the display pilot in 2012. all those that saw the news on Saturday, unfortunately, the wider aviation, the Royal Air Force, lost a very dear family. And in tribute of squad leader Mark Long, this is Spitfire. As the team completes Spitfire, they now come round to the left-hand side. On the right of Red 1 is Red 2. That's flight squadron leader Chris McCann, known as Creamy. He's known as Creamy as he was creamed off as an instructor after training to be a qualified flying instructor on the Tucano. He then joined Tornado with 617, the Dam Busters, where he received an Air Force Cross for his service on operations. To the left-hand side is Flight Lieutenant Dusty Wales, known as Dusty. His full name is Dustin. He's a previous Typhoon pilot with 11 Squadron, 29 Squadron and the Test and Evaluation Squadron on 41. The team have now moved into a shape which represents one of the most majestic and iconic aircraft ever in history. This is Concorde. In November in 2023, it was the 30th anniversary of the last flight of Concorde, and I'm sure you can imagine and agree with me that Concorde is one of the most majestic and famous aircraft in history, and it was only fitting that we put it into our display. You can now see all the front sections starting to make their way forward. Reds 8 and 9 moving to their left and right respectively. Once again, get your cameras ready for the colourful. This is the Phoenix. In the middle of the right wing, last uppermost is Flight Lieutenant Ollie Sutton. He's Red 4. He's in his second year on his team. He was Red 4 last year. He remained as Red 4 and took up the position known as Uncle Enid, which means that he looks after the new pilots in the front section as they go through their training. He's also a former Tornado GR4 pilot, and he's also flown the F111 while on exchange with the Australian Air Force. Team coming in from the right for the Chevron roll. On the front row, on the far left-hand side is Red 5. That's Flight Lieutenant George Hobday. First year on the team. He's a former Typhoon pilot, having flown with 11 Squadron on operations on both over Iraq and Syria, as well as the Eastern Europe Air Policing Patrol. In addition to the 11 pilots, the Red Arrows, of course, is made up of over 140 personnel. Over 120 of them are the Blues, and they are the mechanics, the technicians, the administrators, the suppliers, and they are the absolute backbone of the team to be able to make it work. And they're like cogs in a clock. One of the cogs drops off and the clock doesn't work, and that's how the Red Arrows team work, with every single member an absolute vital piece of the team. You'll now see Reds 8 and 9 dropping in trail on the rest of the formation, coming in from the front left. It's one of the most popular manoeuvres that we have on the show. We've kept it in for this year. Get your cameras ready for the Tornado! The board call from Red 9 as Reds 8 and 9 roll around the rest of the formation, smoking red and blue. Red 1 brings the formation down the line and changes the colour in the front section, while 8 and 9 continue to make that roll around the smoke. Red one brings the team round to right as we come to the end of the first half. As we start the second half, Red one has brought the 5-4 split, which hasn't been seen for nearly 20 years. We now have Enid going off to the right. That's Reds 1 through 5, called Enid after Enid Blyton's famous 5. Enid from the right, Hannah from the left. This is the 5-4 pass. Keep your eye on Enid to the left-hand side. The Red Arrows were formed in 1964 with our first display in 1965. The Red Arrows were formed from 3 different teams. We had the Red Pelicans, the Black Arrows and the Yellow Jacks. We took the red from the Red Pelicans, we took the arrows from the Black Arrows, and we took the aircraft from the Yellow Jacks. And in tribute to that aircraft, Enid from the right, this is Nat. Served with the Red Arrows until 1980 when we took over with the Hawk T-Mark 1, which is one of the aircraft that we fly now. It's very agile, very manoeuvrable and perfect for flying in air displays. And all the pilots, great. Pass. Last year. Turning hard, he's a former Typhoon pilot and a qualified weapons instructor as they complete manoeuvre called Cyclone. Each aircraft passing with only 30 metres, that's 100 feet of each other, as they line up to complete the manoeuvre in slingshot. But coming in from your left-hand Paddy, he turns hard off towards the right-hand side. He lines up with Enid to complete the goose. Paddy is a former Typhoon pilot and Tornado GR4 pilot, and he is in his 3rd and final year on the squadron. Enid coming right, trailing left on this red, white and blue. And that is possible due to the smoke pod that is underneath the aeroplane. Those smoke pods are capable of producing approximately 5 minutes of white smoke, 1 minute of red smoke and 1 minute of blue smoke. And each of the colours are famous. It's the Synchro Heart. And coming in from the top right is Red 8 as he spears the heart. Red 8 is Flight Lieutenant Rich Walker, 2nd year in the team. Formation in corkscrew. The motto of the Red Arrows is a clap, which means excellence, and it means that every single member of the team is striving for excellence in everything that we do. And we also tried to leave the team in a better place than whence we joined. And that is all the way from the very top, from the officer commanding, all the way down to the newest members of the team. We have immense pride in the team and also being part of the Royal Air Force. 360-degree aileron roll. Leaving a smoke-like, snake-like trail in the sky before Red 1 flattens it off to draw the coils of the flat part of the serpent. course, Tango, as all Reds 2, 3, 4. Coming in from the left, once again, you've got Red 6, 7, 8 and 9. Red 6 and 7 roll in as they perform the mirror pass. Red 6 and 7 inverted for no more than 30 seconds. However, that negative G is pushing all the blood to their head, and they're working extremely hard to make sure they maintain consciousness in that negative G. Clear go as Reds 4 and 5 roll around the outside in one of the hardest manoeuvres for new pilots each year. This is the rollbacks. Drawing something very special in the sky. This is the 60th anniversary break. Please put your hands together for the Red Arrows!
More than 500,000 cubic feet. You could fly that balloon inside one of those other balloons. Wouldn't be advisable though, because that's the hottest place that you don't want to have a balloon flying with hot air inside it, inside another hot environment. So the colder the air that's around us, the better and nicer it is to fly from the road system to go and find where he is. He will then be looking for a nice big open field, nice grass field like we have here, that's dry, no animals, no crops, no power lines to obstruct him. And then he will make his descent and try and land the balloon in the field, and hopefully the retriever will be there. There's a gate that they can get in, but the first thing they're going to go and do is find the landowner and go and ask permission to be able to go in and retrieve the balloon, because we are arriving without announcing ourselves on someone's property, and then of course we have to go and ask permission to retrieve the balloon. There are certain places that we're not allowed to go and fly, because obviously a farmer who's got sensitive livestock or young animals. We also have some sensitive areas like radio transmission points, military airspace, and those are all marked on our maps so we know to avoid them. You see on the crowd line now some of the small remote control balloons coming along, walking along. Much easier to control, less weather dependent, but also it's showing us that the wind is actually calming off nicely, which is really good for us a little later on tonight. So we have our third balloon taking off now. This multicoloured one is now going to track down the centre of the valley. As I said earlier on, the wind flows over the local ground, over the trees and the roads in the valleys, much the same as water flows over pebbles and rocks in the bottom of a river valley. So if he stays low there, you can see he's now moving a lot faster than the balloons were earlier on, because he's flying down the centre of the valley and he's getting this valley wind effect where it sort of accelerates and speeds up a little bit. But it also looks like he might be flying on a little bit further, not staying within the park, going off and trying to find another field outside the estate. And you'll see him climbing away. Again, that's rather a small balloon, not particularly large, I think about 56,000 cubic feet. So it might just be the pilot on his own. A lot more manoeuvrable, a lot more controllable, easy to take out, easy to pack up. What a lovely image. There's a fantastic end to the evening free flying display to see a special shape in the air. Great show there. I think that's being flown by Bradley Lewis. So now I'll make sure that there's nothing in the way. No other balloons that are starting to inflate. Find himself a good line and actually then make sure he gets a good clear spot for landing, because once the balloon hits the ground, as you can see the way it's moving along, the basket will act as a brake and hopefully stop him. If not, then the basket will tip over and drag along whilst he tries to get the air out of it. Because the air around balloon will come out quite quickly. There was a special shape it takes. Grounded himself and landed. You can see now the balloon is tipped over slightly. Slightly starts to deflate as the air is coming out at the top. It's not as if the crew need to go and find out where he is. They can probably see exactly where he is. There we go, and the balloon is now stopped. So it means that he's used the basket to actually slow the balloon down and come to a stop. And because it's nice and calm there, he can keep the balloon inflated standing up. Which is great because it means that the crew know exactly where he is.
Perfect, right.
Well, it looks like he's moving. So we're going to have our second special shape of the evening. Hopefully Lee will get that one off the ground. So he's using the burner quite a bit, heat up the air inside. We might have to have another Ragley Hall cheery if he gets that one off the ground. So as we said earlier, if you've got the chance, go and grab yourself something to eat, get yourself a drink, get yourself a good spot and settle down. He has an official title and I can't remember what it is. It's something like his Supreme Leader, the Greatest, or something, all sorts of different names that go with it. We just call him Green Meanie. Ah, what a lovely pretty balloon going up there. Brightly coloured one, I think that's Gary Davis taking away there. That's absolutely beautiful sight there. Two balloons in the air at once. It looks like Aurelian again is not looking at going outside the park. He wants to stay here. And again, you're getting to see some of the control that the pilot has, his ability to be able to fly that balloon just a few feet above the ground without disturbing a single blade of grass. And the more experienced pilots have actually fantastic control. As I said, they can literally fly, skim across the top of a lake, and we actually enjoy doing that. We do call it a splash and dash. We can actually come along and put the basket just on the surface of the water. Or certain pilots will actually put it under the water and then actually come and land the balloon up on the bank. But Aurelian is just skimming across the launch field, a few inches above the ground, and hopefully he'll find himself a nice landing spot over in the corner. So that's great to see. Fantastic sight of two special shapes in the air tonight. Got another multicolored balloon in the air. You can see that one of them spinning around as he's able to rotate the balloon. These little rotation vents on the side of it act like little jet engines. Basically what he does is he opens a little vent and the air squirts out of the side of it and it allows the balloon to rotate on its own axis. And he can rotate left or right. As I said earlier on, it's actually great for the pilot because it means he doesn't have to keep running around in the basket if the balloon turns around, so he can see where he's going. And it means that all he does is rotate it, and it makes a great camera platform as well. If you put a camera on the side of the balloon and then rotate it, it's completely smooth. You get this smooth panning effect. Very useful if you're flying TV crews and camera crews and stuff like that. So G-Smile, again looking just to come back down low over the arena, working his way down towards the Alien and Slick. But you can see how fast the air has got out of the Alien. He deflates very quickly because he's basically two standard balloons joined together. He has a little parachute on the top, at the top of his head, and that lets the air out and allows the pilot to deflate it very quickly.
Yeah, I watched it in Slink, like, I managed to get like right up to the king. But then go down there, so it's more of a car park.
Huh? Really?
I thought everyone was heading there to watch them, but they were like people leaving.
Has that got a cowbell? I can hear a cowbell.
You might have said something, I don't know if you heard it.
I swear I heard a cowbell.
You guys?
Oh no.
I zoomed in on the detail on the thing. They said that like happened.
Oh
It
yeah.
was really like details on the.
Oh wow, yeah. That's nice. Huh. Oh dear, he's gone down. He's going downhill fast. No. Yeah. You have a daffodil in his mouth or something.
Huh?
You have a daffodil.
I was filming. I think they used this for night glow one.
Oh right.
Sunset. So have a look at these machines. We'll see a lot more of them over the next 2 days. But we had a long talk this morning with Rick, and we are very much looking forward to seeing them tomorrow and also on Sunday.
And we're going to do it all the music. those phones out again and give them another big wave, ladies and gentlemen. Tim and Tom Dews, the father and son duo, with Airborne Pyrotechnics.
That's it, that's all you're getting.
Get your cameras out for the drone. Get all those cameras out.